This demonstration we're going to look at how we can use some of the inbuilt utilities that we get with Windows 10 to troubleshoot name resolution. Name resolution is where we put in a computer name, for example www.brianoconnor21.co.uk, and then what it does is it resolves that to an IP address. There may be some instances where that doesn't work, or maybe we need to troubleshoot information relating to DNS. What I've done is I've just come to my Windows 10 PC, and in the case of my Windows 10 PC, I've logged into PowerShell. Now within PowerShell, we're going to run a couple of commandlets, and those commandlets will allow us to test the name resolution. So the first commandlet we're going to run is we're going to run ipconfig/display DNS. And what this is doing at this point here, it's showing me the local DNS resolver cache. So the theory behind this is if you already know the IP address of something, you shouldn't really have to talk to a DNS server to get that information again. So as we can see at this point here, we can see that lon-dc1.adatem.com has an IP address of 172.16.0.10. How do we know that? We've had an answer back. So at this point here, we know that we're getting name resolution, so that's brilliant. We can also get exactly the same information through a PowerShell commandlet, and that PowerShell commandlet is get-DNS and then client cache. And if we just hit the return on that, we get exactly the same information back again. Now let's just say that that DNS record is causing us an issue. Let's say the IP address has changed, so we need to be able to resolve that address record to its new IP address. But unfortunately my client machine has already got a response back on the old IP address. So one of the things we can do is we can get a ipconfig/ and at this point here flush DNS. Now when we run the flush DNS, what we get is we've now cleared that out. So let's just have a look at display DNS again, and as we can see there's no information in there. So let's just put some information back in to the DNS resolver by doing a ping lon-dc1, and then if we just do a display DNS again, we've now got the information back in. So the PowerShell commandlet is clear-DNS client cache, and that clears it out. So again, if we just do a display DNS, nothing in the resolver cache. So if we want to test name resolution, easiest way to do it, as we saw there, was just do a ping. But what we also have within PowerShell is we have a test-connection. What we can do is we can do a test-connection, then lon-dc1, and that goes away. It's near enough doing a ping. So we want some information relating to that, so let's just use our get-DNS client cache commandlet again. But what we're going to do at this point here is we're going to use the pipe commandlet, which is a shift / on the UK keyboard. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do a format list. So as you can see, gives us a bit more information relating to going through there. So at this point here we can see it's successfully gone through. And again, if we just do an ipconfig/display DNS, we get the same information in there as well. So at this point here, what we've been doing with our Windows 10 device is we've been resolving all of those names against a thing called a DNS server. Now, in the good old days when I first started working in IT, we didn't really use DNS. We didn't really need to. We had a limited number of devices. So we used a thing called a hosts file. Now, the downside of a host file is a host file exists on every single PC. So if we implement a new, let's say, server, we would then have to go to every single PC and put a host entry in every single PC's hosts file. And that's really inefficient. But we can also use a host file to do name resolution. So what we're going to do at this point here is I'm just going to come in, we're just going to access our hosts file. So I'll just clear the screen off. Then all I'm going to do is notepad space C:\Windows /system32 /drivers /etc /host, and that is the file. Now we have the file open, what we'll do is we'll just come to the end of the file, and all we're going to do at this point here is type the 172.16.0.10, hit the tab key, and we're going to say that's for a device called intranet. Now we've done that, we'll just save this off. I'll just minimize that down, and then all we'll do is just through our command prompt is we will now just ping or do a test connection, and we'll do that to intranet. So as we can see, it's done a ping, and the pings came back okay. So now we've done that, let's just do our get hyphen, and then DNS client cache. Now what we can see is we've now got information relating to intranet. So now we have that information. Next thing we'll do is we'll just clear the screen off. We also have another utility that we can use to test our name resolution, and that's a utility called Nslookup. So if I just do an Nslookup lon-dc1 and hit return, what it will do is it will come back and it will tell me that it's resolved that name to this IP address, and it's done that because Nslookup is looking at DNS information. So now what we'll do is we'll do a resolve and then -DNS name, and we want to do that against lon-dc1, and then what we'll do is we'll just pipe that again, and what we'll do is we'll format the list and hit return. So we can see the name, we can see it's an A record, which is an address record. What we can also see as well is we can see the IP address. So that is Nslookup. Now what we can also do as well is we can take information that we have in Nslookup and we can pipe that out to a file. So if I just do an Nslookup again, and then we're just going to do a D1, -D1. So we want some information relating to these types of records. I'm going to do that for lon-dc1.adatum.com. Then what we're going to do with that information is we're going to do a greater than symbol, and we're going to do that to c:\file.txt. So let's push that information out to a file. Let's just look at the file. And what it's doing, it's giving us all of the information relating to what we asked about. So we can see the start authority, we can see the header records, so we can see all the information coming back relating to the query we've just put in place. And that's the end of this demonstration of looking at some troubleshooting for name resolution within Windows 10. Thank you.